Greetings everyone. Today we have Yusra with us, who has been a former student with our premium RTL verification batch. And by this episode, she's going to let uh, us know about her experience with us for her preparation and guidance for being placed till now as an intern at Mentor Graphics. So over to you, Yusra. How are you doing today?
Hi Sanket, I'm fine. How are you? And hi
I'm great.
everybody else.
Yeah. So Yusra, let's begin with your journey so far. Like, where did you have done your graduation from, and how was your experience for college life?
I'm actually an MTech student, so I'm a student in MN and IT Allahabad. About this VLSI for all, this once I was going through my LinkedIn profile, and I was a little disappointed because I couldn't clear most of the interviews. It was my sixth or seventh round, and I was really disappointed because I couldn't clear it. So I just found it and I called them. I called the VLSI for all guys and I spoke with Rajat. And Rajat, he just boosted all kind of confidence in me. He was like, you can do it. You just like need to work in the right direction. And that's when I realized, okay, I mean, I know things, I have studied it, but that was what I wanted, right? The confidence, the motivation. And I was like, okay, I'm going for it. And these guys have helped me a lot. Yeah, I must say. Like anytime, even at night at 2 a.m., at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., I would text Rajat, he would reply and he would have, especially in doubt sessions, even if everybody would leave, he would specially counter my doubts, he would explain them properly, he and Nikhil and everybody else, all kind of teachers. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. Like you said, you did MTech. So like you did MTech specifically in VLSI embedded or something else?
No, I am a communication system student.
Oh, so like it's a different branch altogether.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So like, do you think like there was some curriculum in communication part also for like maybe Verilog or something that is related to digital electronics that may overlap with
um
some of curriculum with us?
no, not really. In communication systems, I don't think we had any subjects, even shadowing with VLSI. I mean, there was nothing. It is an entire different branch.
Yes.
So yeah, but then we all sit for the placements, and I mean, the entire aim is to get placed. So we all prepare, apart from our studies, we prepare for VLSI subjects to get placed.
Yeah. So like it is safe to say that there is not anything like prerequisite that is needed for like working
No.
with us. Yeah. That's great. Yusra, can you just tell us about for which batch did you opted and like what are the topics that were covered?
I actually joined it for a very short time. So I opted for the premium RTL and verification batch. I had joined it in December, in the last week of December, because the moment I called Rajat, and Rajat was like, "You need to you need to start attending classes. You need to start, studying properly from today, and you have to give more than 9 to 10 hours." And I was like, "Okay, that's exactly what I need, the motivation." And I started from that day. And I think I started with digital classes, and I was continuing with digital classes along with the classes that were left. So I would do them in the night and I would attend their classes in the evening. So my entire digital, it was covered in that entire 1 week, in that 1.5 week. And then we jumped to the next subject, that was Verilog. So it was because I was studying, specifically me, I was studying on my own, because we didn't have labs for very long. And I had friends in the VLSI domain, so I would like gradually take their help, but then their help was insufficient because I cannot ping them all the time that clarify this doubt. So here I liked how Nikhil was our teacher, I guess. Yeah. So Nikhil, I liked how nicely he would write the code, he would explain each and everything, and then he would explain the waveforms. He would take his time to explain the waveforms, and then he would specifically ask every single being in the class that, did you understand it? Did you understand it? And then when everybody would say yes, then only he would move forward. It was not slow, I would say. It was very, specific to the point, and was like very nice studies. So that Verilog was completed. It was completed, I think, in 3 weeks. And I must say, because it was like in the process of, studying and the motivation and the boosting, in that first week of January, I had my first interview for Mentor Graphics. So because, I was confident with digital and Verilog, and I was studying STA apart from this on my own. And there were few more lectures and previous experiences that Rajat had forwarded me. So I was going through them. There were about 200 videos, so I was going through them too. So it was in short a collective package that really helped me through my first interview. My first interview, it went for 2.5 hours, so you can imagine how long and how elaborate it could be. They had asked almost everything in digital, and because luckily I had completed it that time, and I was like, okay, these are my doubts, and these guys cleared my doubts. And like few of the doubts that I had, those doubts were actually asked in my interview, and I was very confident in answering them. So yeah, that was like a luck for me. I was happy with that. And then when I continued with my study with Verilog, and then I think in continuation with Analog, in my second week of January, at the end of the second week, I got the call for my second round of interview. So I called Rajat. I was like, this is it, and I now have my second round of interview. He was like, just go for it. And he in that moment itself, he sent me so many videos that just quickly go through them. It's not time to go through books, and just quickly go through them, and you'll remember everything. I did. In that the same day when he had forwarded me the videos, the same day I mean after like after like I like 2 hours I had that interview. And I was very confident with whatever I was answering, and because I was explaining them very nicely in the way that these guys explained me the doubts, so they were impressed with the second round of the interview. And the moment only they said that okay, we'll go for the third round, and that third round will be for very long.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I must tell you that I'm really weak in Verilog, and the only the point of rejection was Verilog.
Okay.
I mean, I knew that if I was gonna get rejected, that was Verilog itself. So when I was done with my second interview, I called Rajat up again. I was like, Rajat, this is the thing. I have now my entire 1 hour of interview solely based on Verilog. What do I do? And he was like, okay, go through. And he gave, because I couldn't attend one lecture series of Verilog. I started with the programming part directly, so that another one was like the theoretical part. And he sent me those lectures, so that were Anjali ma'am's lectures, I guess. Yeah. I i had 3 days time. I went through all the lecture. He gave me 3 folders, and those 3 folders contained everything. It had one folder had one mail folder had the theoretical part, very nicely explained, I must say. That theoretical part. The second folder had the programming part, and the third folder had the basic doubts of that programming, uh, like the waveforms. And the very simple things, but they were very necessary. So that third folder had doubts. It had elaborated waveforms, and I think it had few more things. It had projects also. Yeah, it had few tiny projects that just in case if they were asked, because I hadn't mentioned them in my CV, so I was able to explain them. So I went through that lecture series, and just like you know I was so bad at it. And let me tell you, I was so bad at Verilog that I could only write codes on my notebook. I wouldn't rectify the error, and I wouldn't even know that my waveform is showing something else, and my test bench is writing something else, and then not being linked. So that was the reason. Although the interviewer is smart enough to know that, yeah, she's
Yeah.
it. But then because I was explaining them so nicely, this is what when I finally got the call, this is what my manager told me, that because you had theoretical knowledge and you explained them all very nicely, we can have you in our team, and think that yeah, if you have the right theoretical knowledge, you can implement them on practically, you can implement them on the system, you can actually get the results out of it. So yeah, I must say I didn't answer all the questions in Verilog. I only answered like 60 to 70%, because the rest of them were, but then I explained them very nicely because I understood them very nicely. So yeah, so the third round of Verilog also helped me. And about STA also, I already had studied STA, but he had sent me some very specific videos. So those very specific interview questions videos, that specific videos helped me a lot. So when I wouldn't even realize that I'm answering to them as if I was sitting in an interview. I just simply, just it was like a normal conversation. This is how nicely I explained to them, because this is how nicely I understood, because this is how nicely my doubts were cleared. So yeah, it benefited me. I hope it benefits like everybody else who joins.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
you were still pursuing MTech. So do you feel that it was being hectic, or like you were actually keen with managing time? Like how much of time did you have to spend every day?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I did think that it's going to be hectic, but I mean, I had this right direction that I have to anyhow get placed. I was in my final semester, and Rajat kept boosting me. I must say, he kept boosting me. Every time I would send him something, he would boost me, like he would motivate me. So that motivation kept me going. I was like, no, yeah, I can take out time. So and then I did. Every day I would take out that specific hours for attending the online lectures, and this specific set of hours for attending the lectures I had missed. Yeah, and collecting doubts. So yeah,
Nice.
the motivation kept me going.
Yeah, uh, I think that is a great point because
It is.
the rest of like there are actually training institute and educators, but thing missing in them is like they provide the right materials, but the motivation part is kind of like missing in them. That is something that we think we have worked with. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I would
yeah.
actually like to add that thing to it. I Before calling Rajata for VLSI for all, I mean, I knew that I had the theoretical knowledge. All I needed was a boost. So I had called. I wouldn't take the names of the organizations and such. I would call them, and they would. I don't know what was it. Maybe I felt it, but it was more like they were very dominating with their work, and they were like, "You need to attend this because you do not know this." So I got that kind of feeling from them. And when I called Rajat, he was like, okay, you know it, and we will we'll provide you with extra material. You join the classes and you will get it. And he very confidently he told me, he was like, in 3 months you're going to get placed. And I
Yeah,
was like, okay, this is it, I need to join VLSI for all. That was the moment I was like, nothing else, I'm going to join it.
nice,
So yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And you were talking about some projects like did you had projects related to like VLSI and semiconductor industries earlier, or like do you actually did some projects after joining with us? And can you name that those projects? Maybe something that is related to protocols.
Um, yeah, I mean, I did myself a project that was Vedic multipliers. So it was like a simple, just the implementation of the design, right?
Hmm.
And the another project that I did from these guys, that was asynchronous and synchronous people. So they did both the designs, and I did that into my profile as well.
Yeah.
And
So like
yeah,
was it like cherry on top of cake? Like was it eye-catching for the interiors?
do you really want to know? Yes, because you know what? I I mean, my manager, what he does, he gives me tasks for 2 days. So this time, this Friday, he had given me a task to write the FIFO RTL and to write a test bench for it and show him the waveforms, and I have to show him by Monday.
Oh,
So I mean,
great.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, and like of course, even after managing all this, the last I would say gate is to like present yourself. And one particular area is CV. So like, can you just elaborate how our managing team actually helped you with CV and resume?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I sent these guys my CV and I was like, I'm from communications branch. Please tell me how how good my CV is. And I was like, okay, I'm in my second year. I can expect the word good. And he was like, no, your CV is so bad. I was like,
Mhm.
okay. And I got a little demotivated, but then he sent me a list of his previous candidates CV, and he was like, follow this kind of pattern, because I was from communications, so my CV needs to be more oriented with the industry I'll in future work with. So he guided me what all kind of projects I should do, and what all kind of the topics I should mention in my theoretical knowledge. So yeah, he guided me through all those points, and I modified my CV accordingly.
Yeah. And like, do you think there is gap between what a student would learn on himself and like with what he will learn with proper guidance from industrial experts? Like, do you think would
Okay.
be manageable for you just by giving you materials on yourself?
I had been studying past entire 1 year on my, I mean, self-study,
Hmm.
and I knew that yeah, now I have covered sufficient portion. But again, there is a right approach, there is a right way. I knew everything, but then when I joined these guys, they every single thing that was more clarified, because they would ask questions up in their classes, like this is the thing. This could be a part of the interview. So how would you answer this? So at that time, I was like, okay, that helped me. Yeah, I must say. So yeah, they explain it very nicely. It was done.
Yeah. And you are currently positioned for which position? Like, is it design or verification at Mentor Graphics?
It is, yeah, it is DFT intern,
Okay.
design for testability. Yeah,
Yeah, but like you actually opted for both, right? Like you were prepared for design as well as verification.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, means what were other languages taught other than Verilog? Was it System Verilog or maybe
Yeah, system Verilog is now continuing in the course.
Hmm,
So yeah,
okay.
I mean, I studied before my interview and my starting of the internship. I had covered these subjects and along with analog. And then after analog, system Verilog, which is now in continuation. So system Verilog is going on now.
Okay. Just to
Yeah,
summarize, like it all started with digital electronics, then they moved
yeah,
to Verilog, and then maybe
yeah,
some projects of Verilog, then computer
exactly.
architect, and
Yeah,
there was
microprocessors.
microprocessors, and now
Yeah.
you are being like taught about the verification part. Like you may be
No,
continuing. Hmm.
before that there was analog and then
Okay,
verification.
analog also. And now
Yeah,
you will be like taught for like system Verilog and UVM
exactly.
verification and everything about that.
Yeah,
So it's been how much period for you since joining?
very short, 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, January, February, and counting that last week of December. 3 days,
Okay.
4 days. So, yeah.
No, no, I'm talking about like from where, from which month did you started with us? Like it's been like
I started in the last week of December.
okay, so it's
Yeah.
roughly around 3 months or 2 months or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So like just in this short period, you were now confident enough to like crack into mental
Yeah.
graphics. That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what do you think you like the most about this program, apart from like
The
motivating?
and that was the most important part for me. So I kept focusing that.
Yes.
I really liked how my doubts were cleared. So because we had continuous doubt sessions, so all kinds of doubts, and it wasn't like if somebody has list of doubts, the other person's time was being wasted. So they're like, if somebody has lesser number of the doubts, you get done with it, go. And then they would specially focus on the one who has. I had even asked them very silly doubts like, I'm not getting placed. What do I do? They even answered to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have continuous doubts classes like thrice a week or so.
And I think there's one advantage with us is that
They're all very young teams, so they actually know the pressure, and they because they've all experienced
yeah,
it.
they can
So
relate
yeah,
with
they
us
understand
more
exactly.
like very easily actually. Okay,
I
so
looked it
like
up on it.
mentor graphic was on campus or like off campus? I'm talking about it.
Oh, that mentor graphics, it was off campus. Yeah.
Okay, so like did you
Yeah.
got this opportunity via us or like from something else?
No, this I had already applied it before
Okay.
joining
Mhm.
VLSI for all.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
got it. Actually, we also have this referral program in which we actually
Okay.
assist students to get connectivity with the industries, and we just
All right.
mm, so according to that, many of us, our students actually get that opportunity to give interviews. So
Oh, that's
otherwise,
really nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so like what else? Yeah, and do you think that a student needs to be from 8-year college to get this job offers along with program, our program?
No, man. No, you can be of any tier of college. You can be from anywhere, irrespective of your branch of study. So yeah, if I mean you should just know where you in which industry you want to get into, and I mean yeah, just join VLSI for all. They'll help you guys.
Because I'm asking this specifically because you told that you actually grabbed this opportunity off campus, so it's nothing related to
Yeah.
your campus or something.
No.
Yeah, nice. And do you also think that for cracking this, one should be doing MTech or maybe planning to do this after MTech rather than just after BTech?
Um, I actually have the classmates. There was one female batchmate of mine in this VLSI for all batch. she had, I don't know what was the reason, but she had a gap of I don't know how many years, three,
Hmm.
4, 5 years, I guess, and then she joined VLSI for all again in order to get back into the semiconductor industry, and she finally got placed. So yeah, I mean that's the answer to it.
So like she was still in tech.
No, she was. There are working candidates also. There were the ones who were pursuing their, who were done with their BTech and trying to get into industry, and there were also MTech students. So it was
Mhm.
a mixture of all.
Because most of students actually think that maybe doing MTech actually provide edge for them. Yeah, definitely. If you're doing in the same
It does, yeah.
field, it does. But if you know the path, it's not necessary that MTech will only provide you to get over there. You can actually opt for this
Exactly.
program even after BTech.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, and okay. So Yusra, how did you prepare for SPA classes? Like you actually said that you gone through some videos. So was it that videos that
Yeah.
was published on our YouTube channel, that the playlist of SPA? And how did you
Yeah. There was there were actually the list of videos I went through. Yeah. And apart from that, there were some theory questions. I mean, there was a book that that I got that it had questions in the form that explained everything. I mean, those kind of questions that explain the along with the answers that give the entire explanation of the part. So that book along with the videos really helped me.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And like, do you think you had to like go through like physical books or something, just to like learn this concept, or like just from videos you were actually
Oh.
clear?
No, no, no. I just told you I had that question answer sheet that had elaborated along with the to the point answer. It had elaborated discussion of that entire thing. So yeah, and the videos.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I didn't go through any of the detailed book. I didn't have the time and the
Yeah,
confidence
that's
to and the
time
patience to go
consuming
through.
and it's like
Yeah, it is.
boring. You have to read through all this. Uh, I think video learning through videos is cool. Sarah, like we actually have this industry experts talk every week or every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So like, did you attended any of them? And would you like to share your experience from any of one of those classes?
Yeah, there were actually so many sessions. I now remember there were interview sessions as well, in which these guys they would guide you through what kind of through I mean through everything that had to do something with the interview, like how can you answer your questions, how confident you should be, what is the actual way of answering it, that if you don't remember anything, try and think, and everything, and the list of questions were given. There was another session by industrial experts that was basically about, no, not basically, that was entirely about STA. So there were 4 or 5 classes about STA, and he started from the very basics of it, like from the very basic timing diagram to everything, and then he covered that entire STA that was actually required in detail, very specifically, very nicely. So yeah, that was done. And there were another like very senior industrial experts who also guided about ASIC design flow. He not I mean we in general know, right, that how ASIC design flow is, how how the chip design flow is, but then he explained it from the industrial point of view. And yeah, I must also tell you that that specific portion also helped me in my interview, because I was asked a question that you know tell me about, explain the chip design flow, each and every part of it. So I did, and in the last I had mentioned tape out, and then he was like, tape out? And that tape out is not actually a part of the chip design flow. And then that's when the moment the interview was like, tape out, and I was like, okay, okay, that entire video of that industrial expert explaining, that went into my mind, and I was like, no, sorry sir, I'm wrong. And then I explained them from the very beginning, and then because that video was just there in my head, so I explained them that entire thing, and then finally it was correct.
Yeah, yeah, great.
So, yeah.
So overall, like, what rate would like to give this VLSF for all out of 10?
I mean, I mean, what do you think should I give? I mean, I attended for so less time. I covered almost everything. I was motivated and boosted, and I was lucky enough to get into. So, what do you think I should give?
Of course, 10.
Oh,
Great, great.
yeah.
Thank you, Yusra, for sharing your
All right.
experience with us. And I think this is going to give a much of other audience insightful information about how our organization works and how we actually help students to get placed into their dream companies, or maybe start their like make them head start into semiconductor industries. So
Yeah,
thank you once
absolutely.
again, and all the best for your
And
career ahead.
thank you. It was fun.